All right, let's cut right to it. Stop wasting your time on study methods that just don't work. Today, I'm handing you the Serious Student Study System. This is all about results, absolutely no fluff.
I mean, does this sound familiar to you? You're putting in the hours, right? You're exhausted. But your grades, they just don't match the effort. It's an incredibly common and, yeah, super frustrating problem.
But here's the thing. The secret. Top students, they aren't just working harder. They're working smarter. They run on a completely different system. And that's exactly what we're going to tear down today.
Okay, so before we can build the right system, we've got to figure out why your current one is totally broken. Let's dive into the mistakes pretty much everyone makes.
Look, most students are just running on motivation. They wait until they feel like studying. And when that feeling finally hits, what do? They reread their notes, they highlight a bunch of pages, and they cram like crazy right before an exam.
And yeah, sure, it feels productive, doesn't it? Highlighting that textbook makes you feel like you're just absorbing all that information. Rereading your notes feels like you're locking it in. But are you? Really? Here's the hard truth. That whole passive approach, it's one of the single biggest study mistakes you can possibly make. It's just an illusion. You feel competent, but you're just wasting your most valuable resource, your time. Okay, enough about the problem. Let's get straight to the solution. Serious students, the ones getting the results, they run on a simple but incredibly powerful three-step system. And here it is. Plan, active study, and review. That's it. That's the whole game. These three pillars are the foundation. What they do is replace that unreliable motivation with solid, dependable structure. All right, step one. Let's talk about planning your week with some actual intelligence and intention. Listen, this is a non-negotiable rule. Top students never sit down and wonder, what should I study now? They already know. That decision, it was made days ago. So here's how it works. Every single Sunday, you're going to take just 15 minutes to plan out your entire study week. You list out your subjects, and here's the key part. You assign specific tasks to specific time blocks. See how it doesn't just say study biology? No, it says review chapter 4 notes and create flashcards. It's totally concrete. You know exactly what to do.
So why does this work so well? It's simple, really. Planning completely removes decision fatigue. When 6 p.m. on Monday rolls around, you don't waste a single ounce of energy thinking about what to do. You just do it. You execute.
Now, let's get to the most important part of this whole system. Step 2. Honestly, this is the thing that truly separates the A students from, well, everyone else. You have got to study actively, not passively.
And this comparison just lays it all out, right? Passive study is just consuming. You're rereading, you're highlighting. But active study, that's all about retrieving information. It's forcing your brain to pull that knowledge out. You know, stuff like making and using flashcards, grinding through practice questions, or even just explaining a concept out loud to your wall. It works.
You need to burn this into your brain. Testing yourself is how your brain actually builds strong connections. Seriously, every single time you struggle to remember an answer, you are literally making that memory stronger. Rereading just doesn't do that at all.
Okay, so you're studying actively. Awesome. But how do you make sure you don't forget it all a week later? Well, that brings us to our final, crucial step, reviewing for long-term memory.
Look, learning isn't a one-and-done event. You can't just grind on something for 2 hours and magically expect it to stick forever. It just doesn't work that way. Real learning is built with strategic repetition over time. And this is the exact schedule you need to follow. After you learn something new on day 1, you've got to review it again on day 3. Then you review it again on day 7, and then one final time before the exam. This whole thing is called spaced repetition, and it's the scientifically proven method for jamming information from your short-term into your long-term memory.
All right, now let's talk about how to put this entire system on steroids using modern tech. You need to think of AI as your own personal study assistant, one that's on call 24/7.
I mean, you can use these AI tools to instantly generate practice quizzes right from your notes. You can get super simple explanations for complicated topics that you're stuck on. You can create entire decks of digital flashcards in like seconds. You can even simulate exam questions to test yourself under pressure. It basically automates all the hardest parts of active studying for you.
So let's bring this all home. The one core idea you really need to walk away with is this: motivation fades. It's completely unreliable. But systems last. A system shows up even when you don't feel like it. So look, if you want real, consistent results, you have to stop thinking like an amateur who's just waiting around for inspiration to strike. You've got to start thinking and, more importantly, acting like a serious student, a student who runs on a system.
And that's the whole breakdown. If you want more of these proven systems that are going to help you study smarter, not just harder, then you know what to do. Make sure you subscribe.